Here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next podcast, a series of real estate in Florida, South Florida, to be specific, Southwest and Southeast. The show is Downsizing and Relocation for Boomers and Seniors. The title for today, again, is the Southwest and Southeast Florida Real Estate Market Overview. And there's a lot to cover here, a lot of ground. I'm Jeff Stone, your host. I'm a seniors real estate specialist with Douglas Elliman in Manhasset and Port Washington, Long Island, New York. With us today is Howard Horowitz, realtor for Douglas Elliman in Fort Lauderdale, Southeast Florida, and New York City, as he has a double license. Excellent. Laura Marie, realtor associate, Douglas Elliman, St. Petersburg, Florida, on the West Coast. Back to the East Coast with Katya Reisler, Director of Luxury Sales, Realtor Associate of Douglas Elliman, the Boca Raton, Florida office. Wow. Okay, that's a mouthful. Thank you all for agreeing to be on this discussion, because a lot of people want to know a little bit more about South Florida. It is hot. It is still hot. I read everything every day from everywhere, and people can't get enough of Florida. And now they have their own Bitcoin down in Miami. This is unbelievable, right? So I'm going to now introduce our first speaker, and that is Howard Horowitz. Howard Horowitz is a native New Yorker who has lived in Manhattan for most of his entire life and now resides in Fort Lauderdale. He specializes in transitioning clients between New York, where he also is a DE licensed agent, and seamlessly handles the sales in New York and Florida, the move, and advising on resources for such a move. He specializes in clients looking for alternative properties or clients seeking 55 plus communities. His enthusiasm helps inspire and gives his clients the confidence and desire to advise buyers and sellers throughout the process of real estate transactions. As a recognized real estate sales advisor, Howard handles the transaction details based on their clients' desires, terms, and conditions, and then professionally manages their relocation to South Florida. Welcome to the show, Howard.
Well, thank you, Jeff, for the invite. I don't know who wrote that up, but whoever wrote that about me bio, I owe you $5 or $10.
Yeah, you've got a PR team behind you, no doubt. All right. So basically,
yes.
I just want to ask you a few questions I feel may be of interest to the listening audience. And that is, why Florida? Why your neck of the woods?
Well, the attractions down in Florida, and what particularly South Florida, has a lot of major advantages, especially for clients moving or looking to move from the Northeast or from some other territories. It's a climate-friendly territory down here. 10 months out of the year, you basically can wear and walk around with whatever type of outfits that you think is appropriate. Plus, there's a business-friendly atmosphere down here. Weather's very conducive. Tax-friendly atmosphere. There's plenty of restaurants down here. And when we're speaking about the downsizing and or the senior population, there's a lot of health and care resources down here in South Florida. So all in all, in totality, when clients are looking to why Florida, it has all the elements from a lifestyle standpoint. In addition to that, a lot of residents that are looking to relocate to Florida either have friends or relatives that have either made the move on a rental temporary basis and are testing the water to see what area they like, whether it's Fort Lauderdale in Broward County, Boca Raton in Palm Beach, St. Petersburg. So Florida in and itself, from a geographical area, offers a lot of different types of luxury properties and a portfolio of different properties that could suit anybody's needs, whether it's a single family home, condo, country club, gated communities. Florida has it all. We also talked quickly about just the friendly atmosphere. So anybody seeking to move down to Florida, please move so with an experienced sales agent that knows the location, knows the buzzwords, and has the ability to negotiate a contract on your behalf based on your terms. Because unlike New York, for example, the contract is really negotiated on the real estate side without a lawyer being involved. And that's a big point and a big concern that anybody looking to purchase down here should be aware of.
Uh-huh. Okay, and what types of properties are there in the area of Fort Lauderdale? Single family
Okay, so
homes, condos?
It's kind of perhaps a little bit different in Fort Lauderdale, or somewhat similar to some other locations like Boca and Miami. But within a 4-mile radius, you could find luxury condos on the beach. You could find luxury condos on the intercoastal, where you have a boat backing right up to your property. You could find single family homes on the intercoastal. You could find single family homes as standalone homes. So what's always amazed me about Florida, and probably gets a little bit understated, and it always loses out to the fact of it being business friendly and the weather is friendly, is the variety of portfolio properties at different price points that can meet anybody's needs and wants that are looking to make a relocation move down to Florida. Within 4 miles, you have choices, 5, 6, 7 types of properties: condos, single families, luxury, gated communities, country clubs. You can't find that anywhere else. Water, intercoastals. So, and that can be somewhat confusing to clients moving down here that are trying to identify what type of property they do like, because every property that they think they like, then they see the next type of property and they like that one even better. Or it's a different alternative, or it's a curveball that, you know, is thought provoking. What has become somewhat prevalent now are the hotel luxury residences down in Fort Lauderdale. Whereas you could buy into a luxury hotel, such as the Four Seasons, the Ritz, the W, own a residence outright, and or go into their hotel partnership and rent out your property for a certain period of time throughout the year. That's one new property type that is gaining a lot of acceptance, especially for people that are looking to maybe just use the property for a number of weeks throughout the year, maybe as a secondary place, a place to seek some comfort during the winter months up northeast. And then you have luxury just condos and beautiful single family homes. So quite a variety down here in Fort Lauderdale at different price points.
Yeah, I'm sure all these communities offer different types of amenities, from doorman to gyms, exercise rooms, maybe mental wellness centers, restaurants, and so on and so on. But
Yes.
Fort Lauderdale is a happening place, that's for sure. When I
Yes.
went down there one time, we didn't
Right.
get more than 50 feet where there was a fair and we bought something. So
Exactly. Right.
yeah, we had it shipped up to our place. So, you know, it's amazing. I saw some Rolls Royces on Las Olas at a fair for sale, and, you know, didn't have enough change on me. But
I
there's
take Bitcoin.
there's a lot, yeah, there's a lot of action going on in Fort Lauderdale. What's not to like about Fort Lauderdale? Shops, eating, shopping, beach.
Yeah, not to interrupt, but people always comment about Fort Lauderdale being somewhat of a balance between South Beach, Miami, where it's action and maybe a little bit of a younger demographic. And then perhaps Katia, maybe Boca, might be a little more of a suburban. Boca being beautiful in its own right. But Fort Lauderdale seems to find a happy place in between the two. And when it comes to pricing, Fort Lauderdale seems to be, I can't even use the word affordable anymore, but a little more affordable than perhaps South Beach and perhaps even Boca. comparable prices here versus South Beach could be 25 to 40% less in Fort Lauderdale. Boca might be an extra 10, 20% more than in Fort Lauderdale as well. So Fort Lauderdale's found its own little niche. We have the Boulevard, like you say, which is has a lot of restaurants, art galleries, casual dining, elegant dining, and that takes you really right from the ocean, Atlantic Ocean, right up to the Boulevard, and is an urban type of oasis where it's a walkability type of factor.
Right.
Fun filled. So Fort Lauderdale seems to have its own place, and ideally, Fort Lauderdale is actually known as the Venice of boating,
Right.
where there's some spectacular homes on the intercoastal with boats 100 feet, 150 feet parked and docked right behind your single family home. So if you have a client that's looking to downsize and pick up a 100-foot yacht, I have a home for them.
Uh-huh. Wow. That's amazing. Well, I know Steven Spielberg has his yacht for sale.
Yes.
100+ million. That's all,
And Elon Musk is,
Yeah.
working with the commission down here,
Yeah.
the town of Fort Lauderdale, Elon, to build an underground tunnel that
Really?
basically will connect the beach to what we would call going west. So he's basically going to bring the Atlantic Ocean inland by connecting an underground tunnel that takes you right from Las Olas Boulevard, a mile and a half away, due west, right into the heart of the Fort Lauderdale beach, which is a spectacular beach, I have to say. The
Right.
council and the town has put millions of dollars in enhancing the barrier, the reef, expanding the beach line, the pavement that has gone into renovating the coastal line for Fort Lauderdale. So the beach is pristine, spectacular, and it's a showstopper.
Right. Before I move over on with to Katia, I know when you're representing buyers, which we don't do so much up here on Long Island for some reason, but everywhere else they
Right.
represent buyers.
Right.
That when I look at their parameters, search parameters, their wish list, a lot of the times it's by price. That's what drives the home of the area.
Sure.
So waterfront is going to be pricey. On the intercoastal, less pricey. A little inland, less pricier. The next town over, maybe less pricier.
Correct.
So all of that goes into it. And I know for a fact, when I was driving down 95, there were a lot of
Mhm.
new developments being built, whether they're
Yes.
55 or non-55. I could not believe it.
Correct.
So again, I know what was on everybody's minds, especially down by your area, Fort Lauderdale, is these hotels or these buildings, their structural integrity because of what's happened recently.
Right.
And that's on a lot of people's minds. We had that come up recently, and
The
people are
Surfside
concerned about that.
situation. Yes.
So
Well, all these new developments that that was an older development and very unfortunate. It just really is. What the situation or the reasoning behind that, besides the elements probably playing a factor, weather conditions and elements, were, again, I guess the Florida board is looking at tightening up the rules and regulations of how soon the condos, pretty much all these properties are condos. There were a few co-ops, but pretty much they're tightening up the rules that condos really need to be inspected on a much more frequent basis, and their reserves have to be set aside for some structural repairs. Whereas some of the condo members did not vote to perhaps allocate those financial resources to make the necessary repairs or so-called necessary repairs. Unfortunate circumstance, but that was built
Right.
I'm not even sure. Years ago, the new buildings, the luxury buildings that are going up today and everywhere are structurally so different from an engineering standpoint that we've always been concerned in Florida on the East Coast with hurricanes. So
Right.
there's been rules implemented from the structural engineering side and development side 15 years ago about buildings have to withstand winds and gust winds over 100 miles an hour. But that will shed a new focus and light on some of the newer properties and the properties that you see going up, including outside of Fort Lauderdale, such as Pompano Beach, which is between Fort Lauderdale and say Boca Raton. And at Douglas Elliman, we have a new development that's basically 90% sold out there. But that's a brand new building going up with the latest and greatest techniques in how to develop a luxury building on the beach front that will withstand those elements over the years to come. But it's very, very cognizant and on people's minds, especially residents living in some of the older condo communities along the beach
Right.
and waterfront.
Right. I remember being in Pompano Beach at the pier there, and some fishermen were there, and I naively asked them what they were fishing for, and they said, "It's Pompano Pier, Pompano." So I said, "Oh, okay. I'm from New York." He says, "Oh, I think everybody down here is from New York, except for our next guest speaker, and that's Katya, who was a Canadian, came down from Canada and made her home in Boca Raton." And that's amazing in itself. Howard, I want to thank you so much. And after everyone speaks, we'll have a little, perhaps synergy. We'll talk about things that pop up and do it like that.
Thank you, Jeff. I look forward to hearing what Katya has to say about
Yes.
Boca and Laura
All right.
has to say about St. Pete's.
Now, Katya has worked with Douglas Elliman. Katya focuses on her extensive expertise on an exclusive inventory of luxury waterfront properties. With a curated Rolodex of high net worth clientele, her comprehensive marketing strategies, and her active networking associations span not only from South Florida to New York, but to many destinations across the globe. Katya leverages these marketing efforts to maximize the exposure of her clients' properties. Her professionalism in building long-term client relationships, combined with her impressive property portfolio, as well as her exemplary market knowledge and concierge service, adds tremendous value to what she is able to accomplish for her clients. Katya's special niche is inclusion in Douglas Elliman's sports and entertainment division, which further elevates her as a professional who is skilled in working with athletes and entertainers. Katya is also recipient of Douglas Elliman Gold Award for Top 9% Agents Company-Wide Award and the $1 Million Guild Award. Wow, that's a mouthful. That's amazing, Katya. Welcome to Downsizing and Relocation for Boomers and Seniors on South Florida. And you're from the Boca Raton office. Is that correct?
That is correct. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Jeff, for having me over. And Howard, wow, thank you for all that information. I have very little to say after all that, but I'm sure we can figure out what we can talk about.
Look forward to it.
You are correct. I am Canadian, but actually I was born in Peru. So
Wow.
since I was 8 years old, I moved with my family to Canada. We went back for like a few years until I finished high school. And then my entire family is in Canada. I am officially Canadian. And about 10 years ago, we decided to relocate here full time. My personal experience was, we were ready, but we used a realtor that was recommended to us that now I know better. She was as sweet as they came, but she had no idea of what she was doing. So that's one of the reasons why I became a realtor. And in Canada, I work with architects and developers. So my background is in design, architecture, and development. So I am very, very involved here on working again with developers and investors on, multiple things. But my experience wasn't so good. So I figure I learn as much as I can to be able to guide people. And that takes me from different ages, different, different places. And when I say across the globe, I also have a very strong clientele in London, in England. So I also relocate them here. Now that takes me to different layers. I help them also with the EB5 visas and getting their green cards and different things, because that's also something that a lot of people look for. My passion for new development, it's one of the main reasons, besides the fact that I love Jay Parker. He is an incredible gentleman. I actually was brought into Douglas Elliman as a result of my meeting with Jay Parker. But one of the things that I love about Douglas Elliman is the fact that we are so involved in new development. And I find that that's one of the skills that I have, that I introduce a lot of my clients from across the globe. And I bring them to those new developments because they are looking for that, brand new. And they are not looking, when you are coming from outside, you don't want to do so many renovations. You want something that is done. So that is something that I love sharing with them. And I do a lot in Bal Harbor as well as Boca Raton. We have a family home in Bal Harbor, and I have been coming there for about 30 years. So very familiar with that area. And most of my Canadian clients want to go to Surfside, Sunny Isles, Aventura, and Bal Harbor, which, funny enough, they all call that Miami. And when they say, I want to move to Miami, they mean they want to move to Aventura or Bal Harbor, but they say, I want to move to Miami. I have a lot of millennials that I work with in relocating them to actually Brickell area. So again, very familiar with Brickell, and I have a few properties that I have listed down there. Right now, I have an incredible property, the Paramount Miami, and that kind of gives you an idea of what I see that clientele is looking for, that lifestyle that Florida has to offer, that all those amenities that you basically can live indoors and outdoors. And it's just that ability to, for our people from New York or from Canada, they are, sadly, and I can say this because I'm Canadian, I hibernated for 8 months. Here, you are just outside and you are enjoying your life. You can be indoors, you can choose whatever you want to do. You mentioned at one point, Jeff, the prices in Boca. I don't know if Howard said it or Jeff. The prices in Boca, yes, they tend to be higher than in Fort Lauderdale, depending on what areas. We have seen, and again, working with developers, we have seen an incredible amount of people looking for land. Most of them want to be in the intercoastal, and I'm referring more mainly to Boca and Highland Beach. They want to be in the intercoastal. They want to be in the canal. 2 years ago, there was properties that you could buy that they were, like incredible pricing. You can tear them down, and all these beautiful homes are starting coming up. It is not the case anymore. There is very little inventory. And even the properties in the ocean, most people that are thinking, okay, we are moving to South Florida, we want an ocean property, the sellers are not ready to sell for the numbers that they were able to sell a few years ago. But more important, they're saying, where do we go? What happens if I get those crazy numbers? Where do I go now? What I'm seeing from my clientele, I do work a lot with buyers. So I'm seeing a lot of people relocating from California, from New York. My Canadian clients are starting to buy more right now. Obviously, the borders just open, but all along they were there, but they were skeptical of, should we make a move? Is the market going down? But now they are coming, and they're coming fast. I see a lot of people that when the pandemic started, they were looking for additional land. I happen to work with equestrian properties in Boca, which, yes, we have them. And there is 5 acres, 10 acres, and we have beautiful areas. Florida is known more for Wellington to have all those equestrian properties, but we have a couple of pockets in Boca and in Del Rey, which people can have their horses and their agriculture. So it's phenomenal. So that I'm seeing a lot of people relocated for those larger parcels of land. And then they're jumping to Jupiter as well. They are seeing a lot of potential of having I'm seeing a lot of people that no longer want to, be just in those condos. They want to have more of a home. They want the land, or they're going into the new developments that most of them smartly are making changes, and they have their private elevators, or they have outdoor areas where they can enjoy. They are not so much confined to the apartments. And the prices compared to New York, still Florida is an incredible price point. So we are still seeing a lot of people coming here. But again, that the whole area, the new development world is on fire right now. And all those incredible new developments that we have with Douglas Elliman, and we have the ability to share that from projects across Florida, that I'm seeing that it's very, very strong right now.
Okay, so when someone, say, is considering relocating or buying a second home, vacation home that lives on Long Island, and they say, Katya, I can't make it down to Florida at this point, but can you set up a virtual showing of some of the properties, or one of the properties I'm interested in? And do they offer you do they present a proposal for you, an offer on that particular community home, or what have you? Is that something that you experience? Because of COVID, we've had to do different things. They buy it sight unseen physically, but they see it online with your virtual open house or showing. Is that something that's done by any chance in your area?
Yes. When COVID started, I had never seen anything like that. I literally, and I mentioned the 5-acre properties, I literally walked around outside homes virtually. My clients were never there.
Right.
So I represented both the sellers and the buyers. We were doing showings outside from the windows, and people, even not walking into the house, we were putting properties in under contract. Most recently, I just did a transaction. Again, it was a Douglas Elliman agent. I didn't even put it in the market. The client was Canadian. I was representing the seller, the buyer Canadian, the seller, very strong designer from Europe. Basically, it took less than 5 minutes with a virtual showing, and they put the property under contract. One of the things that I find right now, it is very important for us as realtors to know the lifestyle around it, because people are counting on us. So for example, that one was in Broken Sound, which is a gated country club community. They expect us to know everything on the spot, and I was able to guide them with that. As long as they are comfortable, knowing what they're getting for the lifestyle, they're seeing the property. Obviously, they have the ability to do inspections and come down, but I'm seeing even people just putting offers to virtual showings because they see the urgency as well, that if they let it go, then there will be 20 offers coming very fast, because there is very little inventory for us. But yes, I have done multiple transactions where the clients never even saw the property.
Right, right. Now, are these typically cash buyers or mortgage?
There is a combination. We are seeing a lot of cash buyers, especially in the higher price point.
Right.
But I'm working right now in a few transactions where some of the clients are they are not here, and they're doing FaceTime, and they are mortgages. So again, one of my strengths, or one of the things that I do, is I'm very well connected, and I provide the concierge service for my clients. I do give them the opportunity to utilize, obviously, anybody that they have that they choose, but I find that our clients relocating are looking for guidance from us. I have assembled a whole team behind me. So besides the teams that we have with Douglas Elliman, our banks and our title companies, I have additional teams that I was working with before, different languages to be able to help them. I have people that speak different languages in my team as well. So in that way, everybody feels comfortable, because it gets to a point that when we have to negotiate, if my clients are coming from Russia, they are more comfortable in their own language. If they're coming from South America, it's the same thing. They want to be able to close and negotiate and do everything. So I provide all that. And I think that gives the comfort to people. I've closed transactions that, there were, families from Peru, and they did not speak one word of English. So everybody in your team has to be assembled for that. And obviously, we know Miami attracts a lot of South American people. And right now, I mean, that is one of our top people relocating. They're coming from South America.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, my Spanish is limited, although I took 7 years of it. Uh, But that's a great tool to use. It's a language. I mean, how many agents have used Google Translate to get a deal done up here in New York? Probably a lot, you know.
Yeah.
So, that's wonderful. And I see that you're a CIPS, which is a natural for Certified International Property Specialist, and I'm that too.
Exactly.
But there's only about maybe 4 dozen CIPSs on Long Island, period. Because
Wow.
it's a lengthy course. It's a hard course. It's not a, sit there for a few hours and that's it. You get credit,
Yeah.
So it's a lengthy process and most agents do not do that. So if somebody didn't have the cash on hand because they needed it, say from the sale of their house, but they had enough for a deposit, say Long Island, not your high net worth individuals, can they still compete in purchasing a property? Is it best to say, because I recommend staying there for a week or two, like a vacation, and then look around. Don't rent for a while because, again, you're stuck there. But if for a couple of weeks, let me tell you something, I covered half of Florida when I went down the last time. All right. And I drove around all these little towns and neighborhoods, and I suggest they do that. But if they start working with you off the bat saying, Katya, I'm thinking of this area, they say, okay, come down for a week, check it out, get a feel for the area. And so that's what I recommend. But hooking up with you down there, then you go see a couple of properties perhaps. And if they come in, you're going to advise them on how to present the offer, your best proposal in order to get the deal, because again, the competition must be fierce down there. So
Yeah, the competition is very tough right now. And one of the things that I do is I engage my clients ahead of time. So I introduce them to the mortgage people. I introduce them to anybody ahead of time. When I know they're serious, I move
Right.
everything behind the scenes. For example, now we are very well set up, and I don't know if you guys know, we have a bank that is actually working directly with Douglas Elliman, and they can handle international transactions. And
Right.
that was key for me for my Canadian clients. So the way that I find that I'm winning some of those, multiple offers for myself, I am ready ahead of time. My clients have already gone through the whole process of approval when they are mortgages, and we are under the underwriting level. So in that way, basically, we are almost as cash offers. We are not, but we are. And also, we are seeing a lot of properties that the sellers, because they're putting the prices in the market at such a high price point, and they're just hoping to get it because of the way the market is, we're seeing a lot of people that are asking to waive appraisals. So we have to educate our clients and for them to know, I know in different places around the world is completely different, and that being a CIPS gives you, an edge in that. The transactions are different. For example, in Canada, we go hard in a contract in 3 days, and there is no title companies. The attorneys handle everything. So for me, is I got to educate my clients on the way that it actually works here. So I go through
Right.
all the process so they are prepared. Because if they come here and they fall in love with a property, we already lost the battle. We're too late. So I get them ready ahead of time. They are aware, and in that way, they feel that they have the power as well,
Right.
and they're moving forward.
Yeah, I let the buyers know here, get ready to go hunting. If you're going to go hunting, make sure you're armed, you have ammunition, everything's ready, you have your gear on, because really, when you need to move, you have to do it yesterday to be ahead of the
Right.
curve. And,
Right.
so that's what I tell folks up here. First, I sit down with them, and if they're thinking of Florida, I say, okay, I'll tell you what, I know somebody in the area that you're considering. I'll introduce the two of you and you can take it from there. And, or I refer to our relocation office on Long Island, which, I can do just as well. All right. But if I have like for now, if I have a basis, a referral basis established here, a connection, then I may decide to do that instead. But again, time is of the essence. They have to move quickly. And by you prepping them to move accordingly, that's a big thing,
Yeah.
and it's not just a pre-approval, it's learning about appraisal contingencies, uh, uh, escalation clauses, anything, no inspection uh, needed, whatever it is to get the deal, they have to do it,
Yeah.
and when somebody can't offer that cash, I say, well, go for the low hanging fruit, which is properties that may need a little work done on them, but you get good value there, especially ones that have been sitting on the market a little bit longer than they should be. That's where you go after somebody who's cost conscious, perhaps, or needs to, be careful with their spending. So that's what I do with folks. So again, everybody's got a wish list, but let's pare it down to reality.
Uh, I just wanted to mention one other thing that I also do that I think it's important for relocation. I am very well connected with realtors outside of Florida.
Right.
So I just recently did a presentation in Canada. It was a virtual presentation, which we had over 200 realtors from just one office, and then we recorded it so then it gets passed on to everybody else. So my connections with realtors outside are very strong. I'm very well connected in Chicago. I flew down to Chicago for a presentation. That one was actually for buyers, so we had over 100 people. But I find that our connections right now, not only Douglas Elliman with other realtors, that is what is the incredible asset that we have. And we need to make sure for relocation, especially, that we engage with them and we provide the tools for them to be able to share with their clients. So then they're ready to move forward with us here, because we have the knowledge, but nobody knows that. And I'm seeing a lot of people that literally they're just clicking on the listings and they're going blindly. They're coming from out of the country and they don't know what's going on. And then we
Right.
have sellers that are just, their realtors are obviously, they're doing the best that they can, but then who is guiding the buyers?
Yes.
And that's where we're seeing problems, because, sometimes they land in my listings and I'm very happy, I can guide them, but that's not happening with everybody. And that is the biggest problem that I'm seeing with people that are relocating. They just don't know what they're doing when they click on a listing and they just put an offer, but nobody's guiding them.
Exactly right. They have to work with a buyer representation agency representation for sure. That's the best way. Otherwise, you're rudderless, drifting on
Yep.
the ocean there. So it's not going to the listing agent itself to get you the deal. That doesn't really happen that much. I mean, I know some agents would do that, but again, they should have proper representation. That's great. But with your international background, you must then work well with Knight Frank.
I work very well with Knight Frank. I actually had a listing in Wimbledon, in London. My client had relocated here. And when she saw what I could do, she asked me to list her property down there. So I actually listed it here in Miami, but it was a relocation deal with Knight Frank. I went to Wimbledon. I did all the photography. I previewed the property. So I was very aware of how the property was. Magnificent property. And we actually were able to secure the sale. So that was one of the things that I'm working right now with the same client. She is relocating to New York. So after she moved here with her son, that is a tennis player, she is now relocating to New York. We are closing in a couple of weeks in a transaction. That's the one that I actually mentioned that I did virtually. The buyers are from Canada. They never saw the property, and that's the same client. So yes, our connections take us everywhere, and we just need to be the top realtors at this level. We need to all be aware of what's out there, because a lot is happening behind the scenes.
Agreed.
Not everything is on MLS. I have 2 off markets right now. My clients, because of who they are, they will not put the properties in the market. They just don't want them on MLS. So we got to use our connections, and we got to do what we got to do behind the scenes.
Yes, exactly. Off-market properties for sure. Our next speaker, thank you so much, Katya. And,
Oh, my pleasure.
Our next speaker, and by the way, this is not a hard stop on the hour here. So we're going to give Laura Marie our, undivided attention. for however long you want to go for, Laura, but for now, your bio, you've been a realtor in the Tampa Bay area for the last 5 years, and you've been quickly, a rising star. That's what you have been. You were honored recently as being in the top 500 real estate producers in all of Tampa Bay. She is certified as luxury home marketing specialist, CLHMS, real estate negotiation expert, RENE, GRI certified, and a negotiator recognized partner, NRP. She has a passion for connecting people with the right property at the right place at the right time. She pairs high-tech marketing with old-fashioned service and gets the job done right if you are selling, buying, or looking for investment property. Laura's love of the Tampa Bay area, with a special place in her heart for St. Pete, has led her to assist many clients with their move to this area. While making the transition as early as possible, she is known for her upbeat, positive personality while being a fierce negotiator on behalf of her clients. She is the team leader of luxury marketing home group at Douglas Elliman Real Estate. Wow, that's a lot right there. And so Laura, thank you for being on the show, Downsizing and Relocation for Boomers and Seniors.
Thank you for
And-
having me today. And
Oh.
Howard, Katya, you did an amazing job like kicking this off too, because there are so many similarities across the board of like benefits that are being here in Florida, and then it's interesting. So I'm originally from the Northeast, like the two of you as well, or actually all of us. I'm originally from Maine and Western Massachusetts. And so when I relocated down here, just the sheer level of issues that I encountered made me want to help with the relocation process. So much like Katya, I have an incredible concierge team just to make each step of the process easy. Now, Tampa Bay is a very, very big space. So unlike what you said, Howard, where it's all in the tight thing, we can have that, but we have a radically different personalities. So there's like St. Pete, there's Tampa, and so many different benefits. Because one of the things I don't know if it's similar to your area or not, but we're very multi-generational. So what I mean is we literally have all different ages that are relocating to the St. Pete, Tampa Bay area because of the lifestyle. I mean, we have everything from very, very active outdoors. We have like paddleboard and fishing and boating because we have so much waterfront property, and our waterfront properties here are generally anywhere from 15 to 40% less than what you have over on the East Coast of Florida. So, you can get somebody who's still a little bit more budget conscious, a very good property. Now, not cheap, but it has a little bit more flexibility. I definitely have a lot of people with relocation, but also building up their investment portfolios as well. So I love this area. Like if you want golfing or country clubs or just even the arts, because like St. Pete's side, I always think of like as people who love their dogs, their craft beer, art, and museums, and wine. So you begin to find that each area, where yours is defined a little bit within like a few square miles, we have access to everything within a few square miles, whether it's St. Pete or Tampa or Clearwater, but they're very different pockets and lifestyle. So really having somebody who helps you to know like, oh, you like actually do consultations. I have to do that with helping people come to the right place if they have the lifestyle and the location that supports that, and sometimes it's their budget that dictates that to a degree. And sometimes it's their desires of like, okay, golfing is my primary thing, or boating is my primary thing, or art is my primary thing, or music is my primary thing. And so you'll definitely see different places that you're going to help your people go, oh, this is your spot. Oh, this is your spot. Do you want a condo? Do you want a single family house? We actually have a lot of new construction townhouses that are coming up, which are really beautiful. Some of them have elevators, which can help with mobility. Some of them don't. So really even knowing which of the different buildings have like the different amenities and assets. And actually, even a lot of our waterfront homes have elevators if they're multi-level and everything. So it's kind of an exciting area. We actually have a lot coming into, Howard, you were talking about healthcare, and, that's one of the things that's so incredible here too, is like, we actually have the Moffitt Cancer Center is relocating here in 2022 to the St. Pete area. We have Tampa General, which is one of the top ranking hospitals in the entire nation. And it's very easy for whether it's healthcare or all these different pieces to create a really good life. Like, I was thinking about it. I loved how you said like industry and business, because we do actually have some really major companies relocating over here to this side, and just the exponential growth. It's funny. We were talking about, you had mentioned earlier, Jeff, a little bit about affordability. And, people are like, oh, is the market going to crash? And we simply don't have the factors for a market crash. We have so many people relocating here from New York, from Wisconsin, from Michigan, from California or California and Colorado both. And we have literally Pinellas County of the Tampa Bay region is 99% developed. So land here is even more valuable than the residents and stuff. So because people are tearing down houses and building up, we have some incredible condo projects that are coming in that are helping people, find the correct lifestyle that they're looking for. And with that, this region is just continuing to exponentially go up in the price point and everything. So I'm always kind of like, if you want to be here, do it now. Everybody who's listened to me is really, really happy about that, because they're looking at their appreciation and they're going, oh, thank you, Laura, for helping, over the last couple of years. And actually, even like right now, with the low interest rates, there's still so much opportunity, because, Katya touched on this, which was so important, of preparing your buyers for this market. Because right now we have, at least here on this side, if you don't market the property properly, if you don't price it properly, you are not getting into the multiple offer situation. But if the agent's really good and they both market the property properly, they have it priced right, then you're going to be in multiple bidding wars, because essentially we have literally 10 to 15 buyers for every one single property that is actually currently available on the market. So being very, very aware. And so if you want to take advantage of the low interest rates, you can do that. It's just a matter of like, we can't waive appraisals per se, although we do get those appraisal waivers on occasion. But one of the things that's helping my buyers win a lot of the time is where you're doing an appraisal gap guarantee. So it's saying, look, we don't know where this is going to appraise, but I will pay up to this much extra over the appraised value. And the sellers are looking at that and going, well, I can make this much more money with this financing offer that's basically as good as guaranteed as this cash, and better than this cash offer over here. And so we're having people opt in and actually getting a lot of the deals done that way. And then also working both on market and off market opportunities. I've had a lot of sales this year just for the people who are looking for the right connections. They're like, oh, this is what I want. And then you're like, oh, I know this seller over here, or I know this agent that has this amazing property over here. So you get to connect people. It's really, I find that one of the biggest recommendations I have for people who are wanting to relocate to Florida is make sure that you're working with an expert, but then also make sure that you're really conscious of the lifestyle you want to live, because that way you relocate to the area that suits and fits who you are as a person, the life you want to live. Because the people who I see who are the happiest with their relocation have made sure that those pieces are well aligned. And if those pieces are aligned, life is really good, And so it was just, I love living here. Best thing ever, And it was funny, a long time ago, St. Pete used to be called God's waiting room. These days, I'm not joking. People would go like, St. Pete, it's all that sleepy town. And what I love is it is so dynamic and it is so alive with art and music and personalities. And I think maybe one of my favorite parts is how multi-generational it is. So it is a place that, you know, for the people who are 55 plus or they're retiring, making sure that if they do come to this area, it is a vibrant area. It is not a place to come to just kind of curl up and, you know, enjoy the end of your life. It's a place to come to really vibrantly live that life. You know, like I have actually friends and clients both, they're in their 80s and 90s. My next door neighbor is 93 and he can like literally outdo me any day of the week. He has so much energy. And so it's really there. It's definitely a mindset of, yes, we're retiring, but we're here to live. And so we get a lot of people who are looking for that little bit more active lifestyle, regardless of age, honestly, kind of are attracted to this area for that. But that's my spiel. But it's also one of the reasons why I live here. And I love it so, so very much.
You know, that's great. Thank you so much, Laura. You know, I always was under the assumption that the East Coast were for people on East Coast of Florida, or for the East Coast of America, in the United States, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, and the West Coast was for Midwesterners. That was
You do see a lot of that, actually.
You know?
It's actually very nice here, and people tend to smile and be really a little bit more engaged here. And please keep in mind, I am from New England, so.
Yeah, well, you know, I've heard of Fort Lauderdale as well, New York South or Long Island South or what
Yes.
have you. And when I lived briefly on the West Coast, I was up in Tarpon Springs, and you said the whole area has changed quite a bit. And I'm sure it has. This has been many, many years ago. But even then, the one thing that stood out was the humidity. If you didn't dry your clothes completely 110% dry, you know, it could actually grow mold. I mean, this is amazing. Or the windows would have all this, you know, humidity on outside, and it would come dripping down. So I do know, yeah.
I've never had that particular issue, but I have had to work with like really poofy blonde hair, sometimes kind of going like this, you know, a little bit, but I like it because that humidity is better for the skin. So
I was about to say that. Yeah. You know,
I'm like, I'll go with for hair poof and good skin. Hey,
plus excellent sunsets on the West Coast.
Oh,
right?
the sunsets. Oh my gosh. The beaches are incredible. That's why, you know, it's interesting. You can have a long day here and go to work, and then you get to see the beaches, or actually you can see the sunrise and the sunset where I am. So you can literally have the best of both worlds and over the water. It's pretty incredible.
Well, now that you brought it up, Laura, you know, I'm having a book coming out in another week or so.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's on sunsets.
Oh,
And,
that's the best. They never get boring or tiring.
In my neck of the woods, and it's gone to print. And and it's something I never thought I'd do. But you know something, I've taken sunsets from all over the place. Some of them beautiful sunsets with the intercoastal in the background and the palm trees. And you know, I use that sometimes in my marketing, you know, especially when there's a blizzard up here in New York, and I'll get out there in my Arctic gear, and I'm saying, have you had enough? You know, this is not, you know, that's it. It's time to, you know, consider your relocation.
Well, you're correct. It's so funny because I will, sometimes when the blizzards hit up north, I'll send my family and some of my friends and different clients to say, hey, are you ready? And everything. This is down here, and this is where you're at. Or I love particularly with my brother, I'm like, hey, temperature difference between Portland, Maine and here. Hi.
Yeah.
You know?
I love Maine, but I don't think so much in the wintertime.
Oh gosh, no. Far, far too cold. And actually, one of the things that I do love about this, because I am from up north, and people go, oh, Florida doesn't have seasons. We do actually have seasons here. They're more subtle, but like right now, my sea almond tree out front is actually changing colors, just like we have the maple leaves up north. We have the sea almond trees down here, and they still get that vibrant red, that they
Right.
begin to change. And so you do get like last couple of days, we'll have short days where it is in like the 50s or 60s. So you do feel some temperature changes and everything. So really being cognizant, like a lot of times people come here in January and they want those hot beach days. And really, truly, they need to be in Fort Lauderdale or Miami for that, not here. Because in December and January, you may get a really hot day to go to the beach, or it could be really cold. But please keep in context, really cold is 70s and below for me. So, like it gets to 70s, I'm like, okay, I got to bundle up. But in
Yeah.
understanding the temperature is also important.
Yeah. But I do want all of you to know that a recording of this podcast will be sent to you.
Thank you.
And it'll be posted on my social media. You can do the same. And I emailed to my database of people that I have met through expos, trade shows, fairs, you name it.
Wonderful.
And
Hey, the connections are good.
It will also go to the Douglas Elliman iTunes platform. So it'll be up there under downsizing and relocation for boomers and seniors, but the title will be Southwest and Southeast Florida Real Estate Market Overview.
Nice.
So, yeah. So
well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, because I think folks had the same problem trying to log on as some of you did. And I may have been playing around with my green screen and I took over half the living room here. So, things got out of hand real fast. So my apologies for that. But again,
no worries.
Today is in the 60s. I mean, well, it was in the 60s. I don't know if it still is, but that's very warm for us. And we've been having some pretty good weather considering.
Nice.
But we're expecting some snow soon enough. And I
Hey,
heard maybe something this Sunday, but
I haven't seen the opportunity to text beach pictures and sunsets yet to my northern peeps.
Well, I tell you what, if you guys want to friend me on Facebook, I think some of you have. I'm not sure, but Jeffrey Stone, you can see my photos, but I'll take some photos and, I could send them down to you so you can use them in your marketing, especially with piles of snow around town. And, it's, I have an IQ set up, IQ test, of road in Florida, no traffic, palm trees, sunny. Or up
I
here
love
on
that.
the Long Island Expressway where there's a blizzard, saying, okay, this is an IQ test. Which picture do you see yourself, in?
It's beautiful. Well, and it's really funny. I actually really love the holidays down here too, because changing out my snowmen for sandmen and everything. Like I still remember my first Christmas here. I was actually with family. We were out on the beach. We had sandmen and we had beautiful wreaths, and I still get to have a real Christmas tree, a nice balsam Christmas tree. And it was just fascinating. And I got to celebrate everything from Hanukkah with certain parts of my friends to Christmas. And it was really fabulous, where we have like our usual holiday paraphernalia. And then we have dolphins in the background. I'm like, this is fantastic. I was hooked.
Yeah, the palm trees with the holiday lights on them. I say, wow, first time I saw that, it was amazing.
It is so beautiful.
But a lot of the people I speak with on Long Island, they like to, stay where they are, hunker down, age in place, live in place. And I say, well, how about living in the right place? And
that's perfect.
And a lot of the times they're afraid, or they say, there's nothing for me. There's nothing out there for me. And so when we consider relocating, well, Florida, it's not near my friends, or, you develop new friends, as we did when I was a kid, moved from town to town to town, I never got off of Long Island though, but I've been in every borough. So the thing is, you'll meet new friends, new things. But again, a lot of times it's guided by cost, monthly expenses, the weather. All right. And you're near medical centers now, and Florida is growing leaps and bounds. There's no question about it. East Coast, West Coast.
Yes, we actually have medical care on pretty much every single corner, as well as some of the absolute top hospitals. And it does make a big difference when people are relocating here, so that they don't have to worry about their healthcare needs, because everything is so new. I think that's why I love helping people relocate so much, is you help them get connected into the community, have the right resources, really be connected with the right peoples and places and all that stuff, because
Yeah.
when you have that, it makes the overwhelm of relocation and just that much change in your life much smoother, you
It's
know?
it's the quality of life as well,
It is.
if you can make it in New York, as the saying goes, you can make it anywhere. You know,
Yes.
it can be wonderful living here, but it can
Mhm.
be difficult at times, especially with taxes for some
Yes.
and quality of life issues. But
Mhm.
like again, when I went down to Florida last January, all
Mhm.
right, uh, during COVID, it was wide open. I'm going, what the heck happened here? So I'm wearing my mask because I thought it was a test. So
We're blessed here,
yes,
and it is incredible
but
here.
it was great. It's a freeing experience. I
Mhm.
drove on the beach with my friend,
Mhm.
and actually was taking videos on the beach, the water. It was like,
I
this
know.
is crazy,
You could
and
still have a life here,
yeah,
even when we were shut down in COVID. It
yeah,
was really funny because a client of mine we just actually, I think it was 2 weeks ago, closed on a property for him here. And he's originally from New York, New York. And he grew up there, had spent all of his life. And it was really funny because I was like, you want to buy this land? Because it was a huge lot of land here in St. Pete. And I'm like, there's so much to develop with this land. I'm like, is this the thing that you want? He's like, yes. This is, with the pandemic and all the different pieces, he's like, he wanted land around him. So
yes,
we managed to find him this huge piece of land. And that's like very, very central to everything. And so from a hardcore city person, he now has
right,
this huge lot of land and he is happier than he can ever
yeah.
imagine.
Well, it's like the luxury buyer that goes into the city or any city. They're
Yes.
looking for cost is not so much a factor. They're looking for high-end amenities,
Yes.
health centers, health,
Mhm.
mental health settings,
Yes.
workshops, things along those lines, even
Mhm.
workspace that
Yes.
they have a dedicated room for their office.
Mhm.
And I've gone into some houses, and it could be
Mhm.
small capes. The second bedroom would be, central command, you know, the computer room,
Yes.
and that's what people are doing, but they want bigger spaces, not necessarily
Mhm.
downsizing, but right sizing to fit
Right
their current
sizing.
lifestyle needs. So
Yes, I
there's
agree.
there's
I
something for
agree.
everybody, but the first step, is for people to ask somebody like me, and I reach out to someone such as yourselves, and
Mhm.
go to the next step, and that's what we're here to do. So
I love it.
at
I
this
love it.
point, we're kind of out of time,
Mhm.
but Howard, Katya, I hope everything's well on your end. Okay, there
Thank
she
you
Thank you.
so
is.
Everything
much.
is good. Thank you so much.
Okay, Laura, thank you so much, and I'll see Katya and Howard in January for sure. And
Marvelous.
Laura,
Right
you,
around
you
the
just
corner.
never know if I'm up for a 5 hour drive.
They do actually have quick hops and everything from Miami to over here and everything, like quick plane rides and everything, because we do have a lot of like private airports and stuff like that in this area that make it easy. So if you do choose to go that route, you also have that option.
Yeah, yeah, well,
If you
yeah,
don't want to drive, because it can be a little bit of a drive.
yeah. I'll get my wheels up, con concierge thing going. All right.
Just,
Well,
just put it on the DE tab.
there you go. What else? Sure. Anyway, again, I
Awesome.
want to thank you so much. Each of you have a very, very happy Thanksgiving, a happy
Oh,
holiday
thank
season,
you.
and we'll be in touch, no doubt, soon enough. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Have a
Thanks
wonderful
again.
day.
Okay. Be
Thank,
well.
thank
Thank
you,
you
Jeff.
so much. Nice meeting you.
Very
Yes, you also.
informative.
Bye
Very
all.
informative. Thank you.
Take care. Bye now.
Bye-bye.